last night, what we did in meditation 101, we looked a little bit at analytical meditation. In fact, we looked a lot at analytical meditation. So we're going to do that this morning. And this is a meditation. It's a meditation on the precious human rebirth, but it's also actually a meditation on gratitude. So we'll think of it in that context this morning, because this is the season of gratitude. I think particularly in this country, it's emphasized. So everybody just settle into our meditation posture and check your feet. If they are, if your feet are down on the ground, have them about hips width apart, with your sits bones slightly raised, and the shoulders are aligned with the hips. Hands in the meditation mudra, that's the right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And just imagine that there is somebody above, very gently lengthening your spine, putting some space in between the vertebrae. Making you just a little bit taller. And your head is very gently tipped forward. Excuse me. Just putting a bit of length in the back of the neck. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. And if they were open, you'd be looking at a spot a couple of inches ahead on the ground. And take a nice deep breath. Just relax, but stay aligned. Relax the jaw. And bring the mind to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead. And relax your eyebrows. And the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks. And bring your attention, your awareness to the back of the head. And relax the scalp at the base of the occipital. And relax the ears, the inner ear. Back of the tongue. And then draw your attention to the jaw again. Just release any tension in the jaw and the back of the neck. And the shoulders, allow your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax your throat. And chest. Belly. And your limbs. Bring the mind to the breath. And just noticing the sensation of the air. So it just very gently flows in through the nostrils. You might notice that sensation at the base of the nose, the tip of the nose. It's a little bit cooler as you're inhaling than when you're exhaling. If you have any sounds in your environment, in your home, outside your home, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to run off and investigate. They're just part of your landscape. Bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what's arising in the mind. Are you, maybe some of you are a bit tired today. Maybe you're still digesting food. Maybe you're just really happy to have spent time with family and friends. Or not. But without judgment. Just allow those thoughts. Try not to have any opinions. And then just as an objective scientist would observe something in the lab, you can just look at your mind with curiosity and interest. It's always good to know what's there. And if during the meditation something should arise that might need looking at further, you can put it to one side and deal with it later. So let's bring to mind all the people of our life. So some of you may have spent time with the people of your life yesterday. Maybe today, maybe they're still at your place. So mostly they're going to be your loved ones. These are the people who you have constructive and healthy relationships with. So maybe you can picture some of those people in your mind. And then there's those people in your life who you don't have constructive relationships with. Maybe it's a little bit awkward. Maybe it's a bit contentious. Maybe you spent time with them as well yesterday. Bring them to mind. And then there's the strangers. Perhaps these were the people that you were running into as you were doing some last-minute shopping. We don't take terribly much notice of them. But while we think all these relationships that we have with our friends, with our loved ones, with the people that we don't like so much, and with our strangers are just, they're fixed. We have in our mind that this is how it is, and it's always going to be this way. But actually, these relationships are really quite fragile. They're fragile because of this samsaric world we live in, because of karma. And they can change place at any time. And then, despite how we feel about all of them, they're all equal. They're all the same. And they wish to be happy and they wish to be free from suffering and having this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation on, well, it's really meditation on the precious human rebirth, but it's also a meditation on trying to feel a sense of gratitude about our life and an appreciation for what it is we do have. And this type of meditation is also an antidote, can be an antidote towards negative states of mind. Try to help us rejoice in our good fortune. And this incredible possibility that we have to become enlightened, or to even get in touch with this incredibly unique potential that we all have inside of us. So we can think that may this meditation bring a little bit of happiness to myself and maybe have that affect all the people around me and then just move out from there like ripples in a pond. So start by remembering, how we've been meditating on the clarity of the mind. So just try and bring a little bit of that clarity, stillness into our meditation this morning, contemplating how your mind is clean, clear, and pure, and that you do have this unbelievable potential for creativity and wisdom and compassion, kindness. And who you really are is complete purity, goodness, and perfection. Not only true for yourself, but for all the people of your life as well. So you can think that every being's mind is clear and pure, vast like space and unlimited. Our negative thoughts are not permanent. They're not fixed. They're transient like clouds in the sky. Because they're based on ignorance, they can be cleared away. And the mind can be developed to a state that's completely pure and positive. So if that's a little bit high for you, if that feels a little bit out there, you can just bring a little bit more down to earth and think about the positive qualities that you have. So just make a list right now of all the positive qualities that you have. Maybe you're kind, maybe you're generous, maybe you're super intelligent, maybe you're loving, maybe you have compassion and courage. And make that list long. Don't be stingy with yourself. You know what your qualities are. And note if that negative thought kind of starts to creep in and goes, I'm really not like, nah. And you just shove that one to one side. And remember that these qualities that you have can be developed even further. You can use your life to bring benefit and happiness to others. So while everybody has the potential to become enlightened, not everybody has the situation in which that is. Well, first of all, where they can recognize their potential, but also the situation where they can actually develop it. Human beings, they say, are generally in the best situation, as non-human beings have quite a lot of suffering, difficult situations. Right now, there's a series on Apple TV with the 90-year-old David Attenborough. And it's sort of an animated look at all the dinosaurs and how they developed. But their whole lives are about eating and avoiding being eaten. It's all about survival. There's no way for an animal like that to be thinking, sitting down, having nice meditation, thinking about emptiness and thinking about developing their good qualities. They have no time. So imagine what it would be like not to be just like a dinosaur, but perhaps just even a dog or a cat or a squirrel. And animals in the wild particularly have no one to care for them. So if they get injured, if a squirrel hurts their little foot, they're all of a sudden they're not as fast on their feet, and they're subject to their predators, whether it be cats or dogs or some kind of mountain lion. And who's going to take care of them when they're hungry or cold, thirsty, if they get caught up in a wildfire? And they're constantly in fear for their lives. So our sweet dogs and cats, or our pets, they're a little bit better off. And then there's the other domesticated animals, the ones that we use for meat and fur. And they're okay for a little while. Sometimes their conditions are good, but then they're kind of taken off to the market. Then all animals, even the most intelligent animals, have incredibly limited mental capacity. So they're not really able to develop themselves intellectually or spiritually. So if we just think about it from that particular angle, we're amazingly lucky. We have incredible fortune. But not all humans have really good conditions, have the right conditions to develop their potential. So I know here, and particularly in San Francisco, there's many people are on the street. And I think this kind of increases in the wintertime, when a lot of people somehow end up on buses and they end up here in California. But there are some street people living in parts of the United States where it's extremely cold. Or imagine if you're in somehow in Ukraine right now, or any other kind of war zone. Or maybe for some people, their living situation is a war zone. Most of your time and energy is trying to keep yourself and your family alive. You don't have time or energy to think about sitting down and having a meditation or a spiritual practice. So you can rejoice that we're free. We take it for granted, but we're actually free from, most of us here, I'm assuming, are free from this kind of situation. And the other thing that we can think about is the suffering of having some form of mental disability or illness. So some people have confusion, for example. As we get older, there's this potential for Alzheimer's and dementia. I think it's 1 in every 5 or something adults over 65 in the United States have dementia. It's very high. So maybe you've studied Dharma all your life, and then all of a sudden you start to lose your mind, or you become confused. So then you start to, it all drops away. Can't remember. Maybe you can't remember your family or your loved ones, and you're living in a mind of confusion. And some people are born with their intellectual capacity greatly reduced through either some disease or some kind of structural problem. So then you don't have the capacity to be able to understand the teachings or understand your potential or even how to develop it. And maybe your potential isn't readily available to you. Maybe you have a psychiatric condition that just makes you completely out of touch with reality. Or maybe you're super depressed or super anxious, and that is your whole mode is survival, surviving these conditions. Post-traumatic stress. There's no time really. Or maybe you have a physical condition that causes a great deal of pain. It's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient. Maybe it's difficult for you to move. It really hinders your ability to be able to understand and practice. So when you think of spiritual practitioners who are devoting their lives and they're disabled in some way, how extraordinary those people are. Because we're all kind of lazy, you know. Oh, a little headache. Oh, maybe I won't meditate today. But some people actually have quite the disability to deal with. And then on top of that, they still manage. So you can see how your capacity can be. But some people, maybe they're deaf, can't hear. So it's not actually, I think until Zoom came out, it wasn't really available for people who were deaf. If you're blind, you have vision impairment, maybe you feel nauseous all the time. I mean, there's many conditions that prevent you from being able to focus on your Dharma practice. Some people don't have access to spiritual teachings, to a situation or a beautiful center where they can come and just sit there in peace. So you imagine spending your entire life in a small remote village where no one has even heard about enlightenment. Maybe there's no internet, so you don't have even an opportunity to learn about how to attain enlightenment, to learn, to have someone guide you, help you work on your mind. There's no teacher there. And other people may be aware of their potential and sincerely have a strong wish to practice the teachings, but they're prevented from doing so by others. I met one woman at Kopan a few years ago. I think she was from Turkey, but she wanted to set up a Dharma center, but it's illegal there. You think of, there are some places in the world where it's quite restrictive. The fact that it would be illegal to do what we're doing this morning. But here we have the opportunity to, we can join the Zoom or leave the Zoom at our wish. Some people face really strong opposition from their parents or their religious or their spiritual community, if they're sort of practicing a different religion. Maybe if you had a spouse or a child that objected to you meditating, how difficult would that be? You'd have to do it in secret or go off somewhere else or not do it at all. But you wouldn't have the support that we all have. And then there are some people, many people, who are physically fine, mentally fine, materially really well off, and they have freedom and opportunity to learn, to work on their mind, to develop their heart and their compassion and their kindness, but they're just really not interested. Their interests lie elsewhere, in accumulating wealth and property and possessions, and maybe spending their time, figuring out how to get a spaceship onto Mars. And while they're busy doing all these things, in fact, they could do a spiritual practice as well, they never consider that all these things are going to be left behind when they die, like a dream. That dream that vanishes the moment we wake up. And the only thing that's going to continue on into the next life is the mind. And some people, all they're interested in doing is kind of being harmful, like those people that bombed our purification practice the other night. So just recognize how incredibly fortunate you are just to be even interested in a spiritual practice and using your life in a meaningful and beneficial way, and thinking about, contemplating about this idea of trying to be of benefit to others. So come back again to the positive qualities that you have and the advantages that you have in your own life. You're a human being. You have an intelligent mind. You have a loving heart and a body that you can put to good use. There are people who care about you and support you. And you have many, many friends and family. You have spiritual teachers, and you have opportunities to create positive experiences for yourself. You enjoy a fairly good standard of living, and you have this amazing potential and opportunity, because of all the other benefits, to investigate, understand, and transform your mind. So even if your life doesn't afford you as much comfort and freedom as you wish, some people have very difficult challenges and problems. No matter where you are, whatever conditions you are, you can always work on your mind. And think how very few people there are that recognize that they have this freedom and these opportunities. And how incredibly rare and precious it is, this situation that you have right now, to be even interested to turn up to a meditation like this in the morning. So really, really think about your incredible good qualities and your amazing good fortune. And then the next step is to think, well, how am I going to use all these precious opportunities that I have? And think about all the possibilities open to you in terms of work and travel, enjoyment, study. The most meaningful thing that you can do for yourself and others is to develop your good qualities. Recognize the ones that perhaps don't serve you any longer and allow them to drop away. And see if you can feel a sense of joy and appreciation for your own amazing situation, for the incredible people that you have in your life. And make a decision to use, for all of us, we just use our lives wisely, helping others as much as we can, developing our love and compassion and wisdom and all of our other positive qualities. And this eventually, slowly, step by step, we will move closer towards achieving our highest potential. So let's just dedicate any energy, the positive energy, spiritual energy we've created doing this meditation. Maybe you've had a little bit of inspiration and just dedicate it to the ultimate happiness of yourself and all the people of your life, and by extension, all sentient beings. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Lots of love. Thank you so very much. And I will see some of you tonight.
That was such an amazing teaching. Thank you so much.